Hello and welcome to Unreal Made Easy, and in today's tutorial we're gonna actually learn how to use the retargeting animation system for 5.4 in Unreal. Next we're going to sync two animations together to where they can interact, that animations that normally don't. And then finally we're gonna actually be able to hit a button to execute those animations. So let's not waste any time and let's get started. Okay, before we start our project we're gonna need three assets from the Maximo website. So you just go to Maximo.com, and the first asset we're going to need is in the character section called the XBot. The next two assets are going to be animations. We're going to need, if you type in flip kick, the animations we're going to need are going to be the flip kick, and then for the final animation we'll need, it'll be getting hit backwards. Just type get hit back. Now that we're in our project, this is going to be a 5.4 Unreal project. We're going to go into our content, or first we're going to go into editor preferences, and we're going to open our tab not in the default but inside of the main window. Close, and then go ahead and save all. Now open our content folder. We're going to create a new folder. We're going to call it Maximo. Now inside that folder, we're going to create another folder. We're going to call it Animations. And in the Maximo folder, we're going to select Import. Now I downloaded mine to the desktop, so I'm going to grab the XBot first. We're going to hit Open. Now we're not going to do anything here but just install the defaults. So hit Import. Okay, and we can close this extra window it opened. We can close this one as well. Smoothing's not important right now. We're going to go to File. We're going to save all. Okay. Next, we're going to go into the Animations folder under Maximo, and we're going to do an import. And we're going to do a control. Wait, first we're going to control, left click for getting hit backwards, and then also for the flip kick. And then select Open. Now, for the skeleton, we're going to use the skeleton we just downloaded, which is going to be the Xbox skeleton. Select it. We're going to select Import All. Okay, great. Now you see these little stars right here? We need to save this, so we're just going to go ahead and do another file, and we're going to go to Save All. Excellent. Now, in 5.4, retargeting is easy for Maximo, so we can just right-click, and then we're going to go to Retarget Animations, and we're going to retarget them to our Quinn. So we're just going to go ahead and find the simple Quinn, simple Quinn here, right here. And as you can see, we can just double-click it, and it shows it. Okay, so same thing like we did before. We've got the flip kick selected. We're going to hold down Control, left click, and we're going to get both animations. Now, we're going to export the animations right here, and we're going to give it a prefix. So the prefix we're going to use is MNY, which is short for mannequin, because Quinn and Manny are both mannequins. And then give it an underscore, and that'll put it in front of the animation. Next, we're going to save it under Characters, under Mannequin, under Animations, under the Quinn folder. And then we're going to select Export. And then export right here as well. Great. Now we can close and do another Save All. Okay. Now, for these two, for this here, we're going to go back to the Content folder, under our Characters, under Mannequin, under Animations, under the Quinn folder, and we can see our two animations. Great. Next, we're going to zoom into, we're going to zoom right here, and we're going to put our animations inside of, we're going to put the Manny flip kick and the getting hit backwards into the level. Okay. And since we're here, we're going to go ahead and rotate these animations so they're facing each other. So remember, we got the WER, so I believe it's E. You can rotate the characters to face each other. Select the character. and then rotate them together into each other. And then from this point, we're going to open our content folder again. And within our animation folder, we're going to use a right click, and we're going to go into cinematics. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a level sequence. So just select that. And we're just going to call this flip kick sequence, SEQ, and then hit enter. Okay. And whenever we make something new, because it's got that little star here, we're going to want to do a save all, just in case we crash, which can happen. Now, let's go ahead and open up our level sequencer by double clicking it. And here we go. So right here, I'm going to hit W just because we see this is highlighted in yellow. So we're going to hold down Control, and we're going to highlight this one as well, so we got both characters. Then down here in the sequencer, we're going to select Add, and we're going to add the actors, both of these actors, to the sequencer. And give it a moment. Great. Now, while we're in sequencer, we're going to delete the control rig. That's what the CR is for. Highlight this, right click, and then delete. We're going to do this. That's under the Manny flip kick animation. This is the getting hit backwards. We're going to do the same thing here. Select and delete. Next, we're going to add the animation back to the character by selecting this plus button right here. And we want the flip kick. So just type in flip, put that there, and now we got it. Next, we're going to do that for the other character as well. We're going to select the animation, and we're going to get hit. Yeah, there we go. Getting hit backwards. Select that, and now that character as well is there. Now we're going to drag. We're going to drag this all the way to the end of the Manny flip kick right here. And just so we can see how the animations look, we're going to scrub it slow. And that's how it's going to basically look, okay? Now, we want to line these animations up exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to just, right about here, get it to where this mannequin is kicking, right? And we're going to grab this gray part right here for under the Manny getting hit backwards. We're going to drag this back forward so we can almost kind of line it up to where it looks like it's getting hit. Now, go inside the level here, and you can see it's off. We want to make sure we get it accurate, so we're going to drag it over a little bit. Drag it back. And that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So there we go. I mean, I guess we could go a little bit closer with it. There we go. Now, yeah, we can do it like that. And then we're just going to go ahead and we'll hit play for the animation. I'll scroll back. And we'll hit play again. That looks pretty good. Now, while we're here, we're just going to, okay, make sure this is right. Yes. We're going to right click. No, not see. Yeah, we're going to, we're going to right click the actual animation. Go to properties. Oh, wait, is it right click animation? Hold on, let me see. No, right click here. Oh, I'm sorry. Right click right here for the animation. And we're going to bake this animation, which is going to allow us to keep it. So we're going to bake the animation. And we're going to store this animation inside of the Manny animation Quinn folder. And we're going to name this MNY underscore flip kick, flip kick 00. And we're going to hit OK. And we're going to export the animation. Great. Now, we're going to do the same thing with the other animation. We're going to grab this red endpoint here. We're going to get the full animation of the getting hit backwards. Okay? So that we can get that full animation. And we're going to copy this one as well. So we're going to select this one, which is getting hit backwards, right click, and we're going to also bake this animation sequence as well. Same thing. So we're going to go MNY, and we're going to say get hit back, and add a 00 to that. And we're going to store it in the same area under animations under Quinn, and then select OK. export animation. Okay, great. Now we're done with this for now, so we can actually close it. Now we're gonna have to do a save all. Like I said, we want to make sure we save everything. Now, okay, so here we go. We got the get hit, flip kick, and a get hit backwards. Now, we're gonna also need to use these two animations in a montage. So we're gonna do a left click and do a control to select both of them. We're gonna right click on one of the animations because we got them both highlighted, and we're gonna create an anim montage. Okay, and there we go. You can tell right here by the purple, it's got a anim montage. So we're gonna keep that. So that's great. That's good for now. That's everything we need in this particular area. So let's go back to our content folder, go to third person, go to blueprints, and we're gonna duplicate this because we're gonna need a blueprint enemy and we're gonna need a blueprint tester, okay? Now we could use the main third person one, but I think it's a good practice just to duplicate. So we're gonna do a control D, okay? And then we're gonna hit the enter button just to solidify that. And then we're gonna do a control D one more time and do an enter one more time like that. And then we're gonna select this first one and we're gonna do an F2 and we're gonna call this BP underscore enemy. That'll be our enemy, which will be our AI. And then for the second one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call this one BP underscore tester. Now this is the character we'll be using. Okay, great. So now for another thing we're going to need to create here, we're going to have to create something called a interface. So we're going to go over here under blueprints after you do a right click, blueprint interface. Now we're going to call this interface BPI underscore for blueprint interface, and we're going to call it player. This will be the player's blueprint. Just like that. Now we're going to need to go ahead and do a save all. Save all. Now we're going to need to open all these up. So let's go ahead. We're going to open up the tester. Okay. Adjust this a little bit there. We're going to need to open up the enemy. Okay, let me go back to the tester and just do a compile save, just so that's there. Back to the enemy. Okay, and then we're going to also need to open up the BPI player. Okay, so right here, we're going to change this function here. We're going to call it get player character. Okay, compile and save. And then we're going to need an output. And we're going to call this, let's see, we're going to call this, char ref, okay? And for here, we're going to select, okay, so we're going to look for, let's see, BP tester, okay, which is going to be blueprint object reference. So we're going to reference ourselves, compile, and save. And that should be good for this BPI blueprint interface. Okay. Next, we're going to need to implement that interface. Well, we got several things actually to do here. We're going to implement the interface. So we're going to go into class settings. We're going to go to interface. And we're going to select implement it, and we're going to add, okay? So we're going to add that interface we just created, which is going to be the blueprint interface right here, player. We're going to compile and save. And then while we're here, we're going to open it up. And then you can see we got our interface. We're going to take this character reference here, and we're going to just type in self. Like self, and neaten that up. There we go. And we're going to compile and save. Okay, and that's all we need to do for that. We can just go ahead and close that. Next, we're going to need to create a variable here. And we're going to call this variable, see, enemy ref, and enter. And then for the enemy ref, we're going to do BP enemy. And we're going to get an object reference from that. Okay, that's going to be important. And we're going to compile and save. Next, we're going to select the characters mesh. And we're going to need to fix something here real quick, just so the animations will play smoothly. So we're going to go right here under animations. We're going to browse to the asset. And we're going to grab the parent animation blueprint. We're going to just double click that right there. And in the animation blueprint of Manny, we're going to find the anim graph, which is going to be right here. You can also see it here. And then within the anim graph, we're going to go to the control rig. And we need to change the root. So for this root right here, we're going to change this from pelvis to the animation root, okay? Compile and save. Okay, and then while we're here, we're done with this, we can close this out. Okay. The other thing we're going to need to do as far as for our tester here, we're going to need to add a tag as well. Or no, not the tester, I'm sorry. We're going to go to the next one. We're going to go to the blueprint enemy, and we got to do some adjustments here as well. Okay. So first we're going to start out with, we're going to have to add a tag because we're going to need this tag later. So we're going to do, let's see, type in tag. Under actor, under advanced, we're going to select that, and we're going to add the tag person. Okay. This is under blueprint enemy. Compile and save. Next, we don't need all this stuff that's in here. So what we can do is we can actually select all this and we can delete it. The other thing we don't need is we don't need the camera boom for the blueprint enemy. We can right click, delete that. We can delete the follow camera. We don't need this as well. Right click, delete that. Oh, make sure you've got everything off there and delete that. Oh, and then compile and save. Okay, so while we're here, we're going to add some things here. So, okay, under right in here, we're going to add a skeletal mesh. Okay, so we're going to do skeletal mesh, and we're going to name this to attack position, so attack, and then just POS is fine. The other thing we're going to need is we're going to need, let me go back here. Yeah, we compile and save. We're going to, and I highlighted here, we're going to need a collision. So we're going to do a collision. We're going to need a collision box. And we're going to call this enemy box. And we'll do a compile and save there as well. Now we're going to need to go to the viewport for a second here. And we're going to need to highlight the attack pose, which is a skeletal mesh. We can X out of that. And we're going to put a mesh here. So we're going to use the same one. We're going to use the Quinn mesh. Okay. Compile and save. And what we want to do is we want to get this into a basic position here in front of this character, because we're going to position the animations for these two characters. So we're going to hit E for rotate. We're going to rotate this. I guess we can go back to W. Back it up a little bit. While we're here, let's just go ahead and we're going to hit the perspective. And we're going to do, I guess, we could do it from the right view. And right here inside the perspective, we want to make sure, yeah, they're still lined up. The feet are lined up so they're together. We're going to do a compile and save. Go back to the right here and go back to our perspective. And we're going to, over here, we're going to have the attack pose skeletal mesh highlighted. And we're going to use animation asset. Asset we're going to use is, because this is the attacker, we're going to use the flip kick. So flip, how about flip kick? And we're going to use the one that we created, which is right here. And we're going to uncheck these two here, so that way it's not repeating the animation. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a compile save. Let's do a save all too, just to be safe. And then we're going to highlight our regular mesh. And right here, we're going to change this as well. We're going to make this, we're going to use an asset. Now, the asset we're going to use is going to be the fallback. No, I'm sorry, not fallback. Hit back. There we go. So we're going to use the 00 one, and we're going to uncheck that as well. Now, what we want to do here is, compile and save again. Save all again. I know it gets redundant, but trust me, it just helps to keep saving. Okay, so for ourselves, because we're the enemy, or we're the victim, we're going to use this initial pose, and we're going to line this up. We do it slow. Take your time with it. Let go. Let's see. We're going to, because we want to get it into a position to where we can see how it's hit and then line everything up correctly. So we're going to do it like right here. It should be good. Right here. Yeah. And then we're going to highlight the attacker. Do the same thing. Well, let's do a compile and save. Do the same thing. Initial pose here on the attacker, and we're going to stop pose. Okay. Now you see we got to move it back a little bit because it's not looking right. Keep going. Okay. More. Oh, it's too far. We're going to move this over a little bit. And then what we want to do is kind of get into a position where we can see it. And remember, if you're zipping around too quickly, just use your scroll to slow it down a bit. So right here, it's still not quite right because we want the foot to be extended. Yeah, right about there. That's what we want. So let's go back. It can be kind of tricky. Now we only want to adjust the attacker because that's just the position that the character is going to be in. So yeah, we can bring this in just a little bit. Make sure we're close. There we go. So about there should be pretty good. I mean, and if we look closely, it should be up. Now it's not quite lined up. We can move it over to the side a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. It's pretty close. A little bit closer. This is what makes the video long. So right here, that looks good. I'm happy with that. We're going to compile and save. Do another save all. Okay. And then now we've got our positions of our attacker and everything. This is good. And we can just go ahead and put the positions back to 0. And same thing with our enemies. We can go ahead and put the position back to 0. Compile, save. And we're just going to, for this mesh, we're going to put this back to using animation blueprint because it's just going to give the idle animation, which is fine. And now, when we highlight this one, we're going to set the visibility for this one. So we're going to highlight this one, type in visible. Okay, let's go to, the enemy visibility. And for the mesh visibility, we're just going to, make it not visible. Oh, sorry, wrong character. We're going to do it for the attack pose. We want to make the attack pose not visible. So that way when you're in game, you don't see it. Compile and save. Okay. And that should be good for that. So we need to go to the event graph and go ahead and put some logic in. Okay. Oh, almost forgot. So go back to the viewport. We're going to need to take this enemy box, right? And we're going to, let's see, we're going to line it up. Actually, let's go back to attack pose. We're going to make the attack pose visible again, just for a second. We're going to grab the attack pose. We're going to grab this right here. So we're going to right-click the location of the attack pose. Right-click, copy it, and we're going to go to the enemy box, and we're going to paste that into the enemy box, okay? There we go. Now, compile and save. Go back over here. Now we're going to adjust this box a bit. So, remember we can use the, R right here. And we're going to extend this out. If you look on the ground here, we got these different blocks here. And this is about how far we're going to have the animation out. So about 2 blocks out. I mean, we could go 2.5, I guess. And then we can expand it a bit. And that should cover it. So this is the box we're going to be standing in. So if we're not standing in this box, that's good. If we're not standing in this box, then we can't hit this character. That's a requirement that we're going to set up, okay? So we're going to compile and save. And then we're going to go back to our attack pose, up in the search, type in visibility. We're going to uncheck that so that's not visible, compile and save, and then we're going to go into the event graph. We're going to select our enemy box. We're going to right click in the middle of the graph. We're going to do overlap. Or I'm sorry, we're going to do begin overlap. Okay, because you've highlighted the enemy box, begin overlap, and we're going to add that. Okay, so now we've got this, see it says enemy box. We're going to do the same thing again, but we also want to do the end. So we're going to highlight that, right click, and we're going to do end overlap. Okay, so we got both the beginning and the end. And then next, we're going to need to drag off this other actor. And we're going to get, let's see, get character, let's see, get player. We're going to get the player character message. And we're going to, while that's highlighted, we're going to do a Control D, and that's going to give us a copy of it. And we're going to need that for down here as well, for the end. And we're going to select the other actor here. And then for here, we're going to compile and save, just so we have that. And then we're going to need, let me double check here. Yeah, we're going to need, off the character reference here, we're going to need, let's see. We're going to grab the enemy reference right from our character. So we're going to type in enemy. Yeah, we're going to set the enemy reference. And we're going to use this again. So we can go ahead and, while that's highlighted, we can do a Control D again. Grab that, put that one down here. There we go. Move that a little bit. You know, make the code nice and neat. And then right off of here, for this one, for the begin overlap, we're going to go ahead and make a reference to self. So we're going to type in SEF, LF, self. And that's it. We're going to compile and save. Okay, that should be all the code we need for the enemy. Now we're going to go back to the BP tester. And we're going to need to create some code here. So we're going to right click. We're going to use, let's see, the E key to activate when we do our flip kick. So we can go down here, scroll, hit the E, and we're going to drag off of here. And we're going to do a box trace for, let me see, box trace for objects. Yes, box trace for objects. And right here, we're going to go ahead and get the actor location. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to type this. Get actor location. Okay, which is going to be ourself basically. And we're going to drag it to the start and to the end. Okay, and then the size of this box trace that we're doing, we're going to do some pre ones I've tested. So we're going to do 200 for the X and then 20 for the Y and the Z. So we'll do those two, 20. And then compile and save. Oh, almost forgot. So yeah, you got to create the rest of this. So we're going to do we're going to get actor rotation. Select that, connect it to there. And then we're going to make an array off the object type. And for the making array, we're going to do a pawn right here. Pawn. Okay. And we're going to draw a debug type so we can see what's going on. So we're just going to do it for duration. Do a compile save. Okay. And then right here, we're going to need to do a branch. And that's just to say, after we've hit with our box, that with our box, then yeah, it's got to check for that. That's what branches are for. And we're going to break off of here. We're going to do a break hit result. And then on hit actor, we're going to look for a tag. Actor has tag. And the tag, if you remember, we're going to do person. Or actually, yeah, we're going to do person. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and shrink that down. And we're going to do a branch because we want to require this. So branch is another check. because we don't want to, we want to target like the actor, you know, with that tag. So you can tag anything and it'll hit that and it'll execute the code. Okay. Okay, next we're gonna go over here to the side. We're gonna grab that variable, the enemy ref, and we're gonna get that. But we can't, we're gonna use this, we're gonna get a validated gift. We're gonna convert this. So right click on it, left click on it, no, right click on it, validate gift, get the validated gift, connect it to the true. And then we're gonna need to do, we're gonna need to do a play, we're gonna play a montage. No, I'm sorry. Let's do it this way. We're gonna grab the mesh, right? And here we're gonna play, we're gonna do montage. M-O-N-T, play montage. And we can go ahead and, while that's highlighted, we can go ahead and do a Control D to duplicate that. Connect those together. Make sure you connect it up here and not on the complete because it'll, and connect the value. You don't want the montage, this one, to play after another one. That's why we do that. Next, we're going to need to get the skeletal component for our blueprint here. So for the enemy, we're going to drag off of here and we're going to get, let's see, mesh component. We want, yes, we want the actual mesh of that character. We don't need this part here. We can just go ahead and delete that. But this mesh component from the enemy, we're going to put it right here. So both these montages will play together. Now, we can do a compile save just to make sure that we got everything saved. And we're going to go right here. And we've got two. So we're going to use the flip kick. This is going to be for us kicking the player. And then this other one over here is going to be for the enemy. And that's going to be getting hit backwards. We're going to do a compile and a save. And that should be good. And okay. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to our map. Okay, we're going to find a space on the map. How about over here? And we're going to need to put our blueprint here. So we're going to go back to the content folder, third person folder, blueprints. And what we want to do is we want to take the blueprint enemy and drag them out here. And we're going to rotate them so it face us. So you just hit E right there while it's highlighted. And there we go. I'm going to move this over a little bit right there. And then now we should be able to, oh, before we do anything, we're going to need to go to world settings, under the game mode, select a game mode, and we're going to change the default pawn to our blueprint tester, so BP tester. And then we're going to hit save, do a save all. And then we're going to hit play. And there we can see our character. We can see them kicking each other, but we can go straight over here. And if we hit the E button, once we connect, then you will see that we can actually hit our target. And our two animations work, and we've got a two-person animation that attacks. Now, we're going to hit escape. We're going to go back to the enemy. I'm sorry, to the blueprint here. And we can remove the for duration bug just to none, so that way we don't see that, and hit compile and save. So we don't see that box collision. There, and then we can go here and we can hit it. And as you can see, we've got our animation. Well, that concludes today's video. Thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if this has helped you.